Hey everybody, MrThefanboy here. It's time for your January 16th, 2014 review of TNA Impact. This was the TNA Genesis Impact theme pay-per-view, and I must say, this show, in my opinion, was awesome. The show started off, before the show actually started, it started off with Mike Tenay and Taz paying homage and tribute to Mae Young, who just recently passed away. And then, of course, this show started highlighting the big main event between Magnus and AJ Styles last week. Then the show opened up with Dixie coming to the ring and bringing out Rockstar Spud, Ethan Carter, Zema Ion, and the Bromance, Bad Influence, Daniels and Kazarian, and Bobby Roode and Gail Kim and Lady Top Up. She cut a promo on AJ Styles on how she warned AJ Styles not to mess with her. She told AJ Styles to stay in line, and now look where he is now. And then she says this themed Impact this is the new TNA. It represents a Genesis. That's what she was saying. She said it's either her way. She's pretty much saying it's either her way or the highway. And then through the crowd, through the crowd, Sting comes out. And says, this is not a locker room. This is not a locker room united. This is a locker room divided. And then after both of them exchange more words, Dixie Carter says, "There's only one of you, and there's several of us. Who is we?" So before that, Sting says, "Well, this is a locker room divided, and we will not allow you to take over and ruin TNA." And then Dixie Carter responds, "Who is we? All I see is you." Then, of course, Sting says, "We," as in the Impact fans. Then, of course, Gunner, James Storm, Samoa Joe, Kurt Angle, Eric Young, and Joseph Park and ODB come out and come out and help Sting, and a huge brawl ignites. And the show starts off with a 10-man tag team match. It's Samoa Joe, Joseph Park, Eric Young, and ODB, Kurt Angle versus think I got that right. Versus, there was lots of people out there. Versus Lady Tapa, Gail Kim, the Bromance, Bad Influence, and of course Robert Roode. Samoa Joe wins the match for his team with a Coquina clutch. I think it was either Jesse or Robbie E. I know it was one of them who got the Coquina clutch. I don't remember very well. I was paying attention to something on my computer screen while watching Impact at the same time. But this was an awesome match to start the show. The crowd was really into it, and everybody performed well. Awesome way to start Impact. Then, of course, next we go to the ring. Next, backstage you see Austin Aries and Velvet Sky talking. Austin Aries gives Velvet Sky, I think, a card of himself. Chris Sabin spots Austin Aries. Austin Aries walks off. Chris Sabin says, "What's this about?" And Velvet Sky says, "I can't tell you in here in this autograph session with all these people." He says, "Fine, you can tell the whole world." So they go out to the ring. And Chris Sabin goes on and on about how he is the champion for both of them, and that how she is constantly messing up, pretty much just blaming her for his own problems. Then of course Austin Aries comes out. And after dubbing him the worst boyfriend that ever lived, he tells Sabin that he proposes a stipulation. him and Saban for the X Division Championship with Velvet Sky above the suspended above the ring inside a cage. Chris Sabin objects to it, but Velvet Sky takes the microphone and says he doesn't have a choice. She says she wants him to prove that he loves her. So he's gonna defend the title against Austin Aries, but she is gonna be in a cage. She says she wants to see how hard he will fight for her. Looking forward to that match, but don't really care about this feud or storyline. However, I'm happy to see Austin Aries back on television. He's been lost in the shuffle. Then the next of course the next match of the night was the another favorite match of mine, the street fight. Mr. Anderson versus Bully Ray. Bully Ray comes to the ring with his hoodie on, and Mr. Anderson from behind attacks him, and the match begins. And this was just an awesome street fight. They used the guardrail, awesome fighting. One spot where Bully Ray, I think he put Anderson on the rail and jumped on it. The match ended when Anderson got the lighting fluid. He tried to set the table. He poured it on the table. He was about to set the table on fire, but Bully Ray comes from behind, low blows him, and drops him with a power driver for the 1, 2, 3. And Bully Ray wins this match. I kind of wanted Anderson to win, but this was an awesome street fight. Then of course next Kurt Angle beats up Al Snow backstage for something that happened last week between him and his family. Then of course Kurt Angle then goes to the ring and addresses what Dixie did to his family last week. Dixie says she did what she did to protect him because he's unstable. Then Kurt Angle begs Dixie to fire her, act like he's about to attack her. Then Dixie calls security. Security remove him from the building. While security is trying to remove Kurt Angle from the building, Robert Roode comes from behind and attacks Kurt Angle and drops him with the Rude Buster. I think that's what he calls it. I keep forgetting what he calls his move. But so I think it's gonna be Robert Roode and Kurt Angle in a steel cage next week, which is Genesis 2. Then of course there is Madison Rain is cutting a promo is seen cutting a promo about Lady Tapa and Gail Kim. Lady Tapa shows up and Madison Rain says, "You think I'm supposed to be afraid of you?" Then Gail Kim attacks from behind and says, "No, you're supposed to be afraid of me." Gail Kim kicks her several times, and then of course the match happens, and really didn't care much for this. I think Gail Kim beat Madison Rain. Really don't care much for them. I'm a huge fan of Gail Kim. I like Madison Rain as a heel. I don't like cheering for her as a face. And I love Gail Kim, but and Lady Tapa, but Knockouts division's just been buried so many times. I just really don't care. In my opinion, they need to go back to that other idea they were doing. That's open challenge, because I don't see any Knockouts joining TNA full time. Well, that's just me. Main event. Sting versus Ethan Carter. Before the match, Dixie Carter sends Earl Hebner home and sends out Rock Spud as the new special guest referee. Throughout the match, Rockstar Spud is biased towards Sting, and constantly interfering in the match. Right when Sting is about to have the match won with the Scorpion Deathlock on Ethan Carter, Rockstar Spud jumps on top of him, and Sting body slams him, and then Magnus comes out and pulls Rockstar Spud out the ring and takes off the referee shirt, and reveals himself as the new special guest referee. Ethan Carter sees this, rolls Sting up for a schoolboy, and holds the tights. 1, 2, 3. and Magnus counts quickly, and Sting and Ethan Carter wins the match. At the end of the match, of course, Sting and Magnus have a confrontation. Sting tries to con Magnus into giving up into a title match between the two. Magnus sees what's happening, and instead Magnus makes a deal with Sting. I don't remember what that was. Really wasn't paying attention, but I am looking forward to a future match between those two, Sting and Magnus. Well, like I said, this was my review of TNA Genesis 2014, or TNA Impact 1/16 2014, or TNA Genesis Day 1. I can call it that. TNA Genesis Day 1. I'll review TNA Genesis Day 2 next week. All right. Mr. The Fanboy out.